I started in the middle of 1 Kings recently. Started at chapter 17, doing a series on the life of Elijah that I'll, Lord willing, dovetail into a series on the life of Elisha. And the overarching theme of what's being communicated there is that the Lord is God and that Baal is not. And you see the gospel so many places in the life of Elijah. For example, when the widow of Zarephath is the one that is chosen, and Jesus uses that as an example when he preaches in his hometown in Nazareth. And he talks about the fact that there were a lot of widows in Israel, but to none of them were sent. There was the prophet Elijah sent, except to the widow in Zarephath. So there it talks about sovereign election, that God has chosen someone outside of the commonwealth of Israel, and he's gone to that person and extended the gospel to that person. We see a foreshadowing of the resurrection when her son dies and he's raised. We see it on Mount Carmel. I think it's very interesting that there is an altar on Mount Carmel which is entrenched with water, and where there is a sacrifice which is prepared. And as the fire comes down out of heaven, it consumes not only the sacrifice and the water, but also the altar itself. And it's after that Elijah prays. And in that we see and that's the springboard verse that's used in the book of James, that the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. That Elijah was a man who was subject to like passions as we are, and he prayed and it didn't rain for 3.5 years, and it rained, he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain and the earth brought forth its fruit. Well, the context of that is that he prays immediately following the sacrifice being consumed. And you just have to look at the fact that there was another mountain. It wasn't Mount Carmel, but it was Mount Calvary. And there, it wasn't an animal sacrifice, but there it was the eternal Son of God who was placed upon a cross. And there the wrath of God fell, and there the wrath of God consumed his Son. He was wounded for our transgressions and bruised for our iniquities. And so, I mean, anywhere we go in the Bible, and we're talking about 1 Kings right now, but anywhere we go in the Bible, we have to make a beeline for Christ. I think the number one hermeneutical principle that we must apply when preaching the Old Testament is what Jesus said in John 5:39. You search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, but these are they which testify of me. All 1,189 chapters of the Bible are about Christ.